My friends, it is happening, and it's gonna come faster than what you expect it to come. It is going to not be predictable, and the time on this is extremely close. What appears to be real is an illusion. And what I'm talking about, my friends, is a devastating blow to your pocket, to your money, to your way of living, to what you have become comfortable with, is gonna be wiped out. And we're gonna feel the pressure of that. And it's only two things that you can do to stay afloat. That's it. It's like swimming in the sea to a point where you can no longer swim. Your feet are cramping up, your arms are cramping up, and you're sinking. And at that very moment, a boat's passing by and it tosses you over a life jacket that you got to struggle and put on before you drown, or a life floating device that you can just grab and keep yourself from drowning. My name is Angel, El Gallito de la Sierra, aka Crypto Keeper. I do the research so that you don't have to, my friend. I'm looking at everything across the board, and right now, today, I want to give you a message that makes a lot of sense. You can either listen to it, comment, enjoy it, not enjoy it, disagree, agree. It really doesn't matter. But what I will say, that if you wait till the end, you can form your own opinion, and you can use this knowledge to make some moves for your own that might help you keep your nose above the water. Otherwise, metaphorically speaking, many of our relatives are going to drown, and it's going to take them an enormous amount of time that they don't have, getting out of a rut, a financial rut of poorness, of poverty, of distress, of discomfort, and of disgust. Because we can already see in the state of California the lines of division between those who have and those who have not. And I'm talking about the sea of people that live in, day out poverty and homeless. And they don't have anything in the bank. They got pennies in their pocket and they're begging in the street, and that doesn't have to be you. That could have been me. I made some changes back in 2009, and since then, I am wealthier than what I ever expected to be. So let me give you the secret sauce. And it's not really a secret sauce, but it's a secret sauce that I consider, if you make these changes in your life and you make these moves, you're going to be the person above the water. And it is up to you whether you're floating on the water with a life-saving device, or you're the one throwing the life-saving device because you're on the water on a nice boat or what have you, that you don't have to worry about this economic downfall we're all going to face here very soon, and we're already facing it. So let me go back in history to the period of time that I was very young, and my dad at the time was younger. And during that period of history, we were faced with some devastating economic times that might play out in the next few weeks or in the next few months, but no later than possibly the next 6 months. Because earlier in, I'm talking a couple months ago, my game plan is set for a period of 3 to 9 months, and we've already approached closer to the 9-month period, the end of that cycle. But let me get to the point. Let me go right into it. In the 80s, okay? I was born in 1977, and I'm not a historian. I'm just an average guy, like you, perhaps, or maybe you're a cut above, and you're not an average person, and you got the intellect to really be ahead of the game. But I'm an average guy, and as an average guy, I pay attention closely to things that I'm told, and to things that I have seen, and to things that I've been shared. My father, who is 74 years old, a lot younger, back in the early 1970s, the late 1960s, my dad came to this country from his region in Mexico to the state of California, and he recalls, hey man, in 1977, when I was born, he said, man, things were kind of shaky in the economy. I was working, and he was doing what he had to do, earning a better life for him here in California versus Mexico, because things were just not good in Mexico. He wasn't going to get wealthy in Mexico. So in the 80s, during Jimmy Carter's time, hyperinflation happened. The interest rate to buy a home was, and I'm just kind of like, I'm going back in history, so you got to forgive me. I might not get all of this right. But I know that in Jimmy Carter's time, the worst time in the United States, the worst president to really handle our economy was in the 80s, in the early 80s. Hyperinflation, meaning the economy was critical, in disaster. And I think the interest rate to buy a home was like, 16%. Unbelievable. Everything was a disaster during that time. It was so difficult for my dad to survive that he was living in an apartment. I was a little boy. He was in a 1-bedroom apartment with 1 restroom in this rural town called Strathmore. And the apartment was like 580 square feet. I got to see this apartment when I was a teenager. But poor condition apartment shared by 3 families known to my father that were from the same neighborhood that he was from. One with no kids, the other couple, like my dad, with 1 kid, which was me. I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old during that time. And my father had to send my mother to Mexico with me to go live over there because living was hard. The conditions of living were horrible. And he could not sustain my mother, me, and him in those conditions, providing for me and my mother so that he could provide a good living for his family. So he decided during that era to send my mom and me to Mexico to go live among his tribal people in his tribal community, because my father could not bear see his family live the way they were living. So he figured it will be cheaper and more affordable for me to send my wife and my son to a home, a community that they can care for us over there while he's still trying to survive here. That was what's happening. That was what was happening during the Jimmy Carter era for my dad. Now, fast forward. I'm 44 years old. My dad's 74. And we are living a very historical moment that could very well match that very same time period. So what does that mean to me? That means I've prepared. Be ready. What are your next moves? And all of these things are things that I have learned from people who make YouTube videos just like I do. What am I saying here? Okay, Elon Musk, very smart person, billionaire. What can I learn from Elon Musk? Elon Musk always says, hey, listen, we live in cycles. These cycles of depression, I'm meaning depression in the economy, not depression as an individual, because that just comes with it too. Things happen. When you experience these kinds of things, there's cycles. Cycles in the economy of good times and bad times. We are living in bad times right now. And the bad times are gonna get worse. But it doesn't have to be bad times for everybody. It all depends on what you do during these times. And that's what Elon Musk teaches. Or at least that's what he says. And you could take whatever Elon Musk says however you want it. All I'm saying is he brings up good points. He says, when we have these cycles, are you ready? Are you prepared? And what you do with the information is totally up to you. So, am I ready? Yes. Am I prepared? Absolutely. I'm prepared. I won't have to suffer as much as other people will, because I have been researching and studying all the way since 2009, when I became homeless for a very short period of time because I was unprepared. And I have learned since then, and I've become prepared. Okay, step 2. So that's the first step. The secret to the sauce is understand the cycles, know your history, thus will lead to you being prepared. How do you prepare? You make that up on your own. I prepare a different way than you might prepare. But be prepared. Be ready. Be ready. You always have to be ready. Be on guard. Be ready. Because it's not a matter if it happens, it's when it happens. When it happens, because it has happened. Look at history. Look at the economy. Study it. And look at trends. Look at cycles. How often do they happen? About on average every 10 years, every 15 years. Boom, it hits, it happens. It's part of our life. It's life. It happens. Okay? It's inevitable. Inevitable. It's just inevitable. All right? So, I mean, that's not difficult to understand. Number two. I like this speaker. He's very good. There's a lot of speakers that I love, and I enjoy reading their content. I enjoy listening to their content as well as reading it, because these people write books. Patrick Bet-David. He talks a lot about what are your next moves. Think of zeros. You know, he has his whole approach and method of how he accumulates financial wealth, and I enjoy his stuff. I may disagree with some of his stuff, but I enjoy his stuff. Jim Rohn. I love his leadership content. Makes a lot of sense to me. Resonates with me. So, number 2. Be a top shelf thinker. Be a top shelf thinker. You know, the things that go on the top shelf, we have this saying in America. I like top shelf stuff. What is top shelf? Anything that costs a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy it. I'm not saying that I'm materialistic and I get it. I'm just saying top shelf feels nice. And so to get those things, you have to sacrifice some things. And if you sacrifice some things in order to get those things, and you focus and you create habits, you will get those things. So crypto is one of my top shelf things that I enjoy and I like to buy. In crypto, there's some top shelf stuff and there's everything else. What am I saying here? I am focused only on top shelf cryptos. Cryptocurrencies that have utility, number one, have potential, number two. If they don't have utility, they don't have, in my opinion, potential. Top shelf cryptos. That doesn't mean all cryptos. That just means top shelf cryptos. So I have top shelf cryptos that I'm invested in, and those cryptos to me have utility, which make them top shelf cryptos. Ethereum, a top shelf crypto because it has utility. Okay? Polygon Matic, a top shelf crypto because it has utility. Cardano, a top shelf crypto because it has utility. So I've named 3 of those right there as examples of what I consider top shelf cryptos. Now, it is difficult to tell you how to do it because there's so many ways. You have to decide. You have to do your own research. You have to read the books. I've said that over and over and over. You know, read the books, stand on top of a stack of books so that you can get the top shelf stuff. I'm a short kind of guy, but I don't like the middle shelf or the lower shelf. I like the top shelf stuff. So how do I get to the top shelf? I stand on a stack of books. That's a quote that I'm stealing from Jim Rohn. So credit to him. Very good quote. Stand on a stack of books to get the top shelf stuff. The point that he makes there is, if you read a book a day, I can guarantee you that if the book a day you read is about leadership, you will become an extraordinary leader. If you read a book about sales a day, in 30 days, I guarantee you, you will become an extraordinary leader. So, I research about an hour a day in crypto, which is about maybe several thousand hours of cryptos and white papers and their utility and their tokenomics and on and on and on and on. And so I consider myself very extraordinary when it comes to crypto picks. But that's just my opinion. That's the way I'm doing it. And I do that for real estate. I do that for crypto. I do that for stocks. I do that for anything that has the potential to return an investment. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. I hope your help. I really hope you consider some of these ideas in your own thinking, and that this kind of content that I create helps you understand better what we're going to face, how you can face it, and how you can come out of it as a winner, not a loser. So aquí el Ladito de la Sierra checking out, El Kikiri Kicks. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.